Holy shit, is this really happening? It truly is. And it's nothing to fear. This is a radical transformation. So I'm going to break down from my logical circuit everything I share with you. Don't make any financial moves. This isn't financial advice. I'm just going to break this down from my logical circuit with risk of getting anything wrong or dates. So please don't go exactly with the dates, but I'm going to break this down from my logical circuit from the 8 to 9 hours a day of research I do. From spending 10 years in banking, going to CBA Executive Banking School, and leaving to break free from that paradigm to create my own paradigm and becoming financially free and taking over 7,000 people with me. So let's go back to 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. If you haven't read the book, The Creature of Jekyll Island, I highly recommend you dive into that. Some other books, Creature of Jekyll Island, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, and lastly, Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. These are all the banks, ironically, all the books that have radically transformed my thinking, my life, and helped me have a deeper understanding of the financial system and how to become an intelligent investor. It's an organization that balances out the job markets and the financial markets. They're responsible for the way the money flows through the system. In 1913 as well, take a look at tax code 7702. I believe it was 1913 was created. That'll be key for the factors in the future here. So in 1913, the Federal Reserves were created to balance out the markets and money flows. In 1929, there was the Great Depression, a catastrophic collapse of our financial system. Now in 1929, there was about 6,000 banks that were part of the Federal Reserve, and there's I think 16,000 or thousands that weren't part of the Federal Reserve. Now this is going to line up with something happening right now. So the Federal Reserve bailed out a bunch of banks, and they gave loans to the smaller banks, monopolizing the smaller banks, bringing them into the bigger banks. So from 1929 to about 1970, the American dream was alive. Now there's ups and downs within there, but the American dream was alive. You can go to school, get a good job, get a pension. You could survive off a single family income. People had dinner with their family. Man, it was awesome to be an American, I bet, back then. But in 1971, something transferred in our financial system, what we're dealing with right now. President Nixon came on a regular television channel information, and told our parents that we're detaching from the gold standard to protect us from speculators. Now remember, in 1971, American did not have enough gold to back up the actual cash that people tried to trade in for their gold. So they weren't protecting us from speculators. They didn't have enough gold to back the currency. So they detached it. And that turned your money into fiat, which is fake money. This is so important. So from 1971 to 1974, they're probably like, oh shit, this is fake money, it has no value. So what they did is they made a deal with the Saudis to protect them with arms, and they asked that all oil be traded in US dollars, which made America's currency, the US dollar, the most dominant currency in the world. So all oil has been traded in US dollars. So I'm just going to fast forward a bunch of years. Oh, another thing, around 1976 and 1978, they created what was called the 401k. And the godfather of the 401k, I'm paraphrasing, is quoted saying that he created a product that made Wall Street wealthier. So if you are a company and you're a numbers person, if you're now in a monetary system that the fake money system has no value other than your belief in it, wouldn't you push your people into a 401k to do their own investing? Because if you knew that your money was going to devalue every single year and every single minute of every single day when they print money, you wouldn't want a pension for your people because you're paying them for the rest of their life in fake money. So put them in control of their own investing and put it into the stock market, the casino. So the American dream started to die in 1978, and the American dream is now dead in 2023. But let's fast forward to 2009. That was another place where there was radical transformation. So from 2006 going into 2008, 2009, we had a massive financial collapse in our banking system. The housing market collapsed. They were giving loans to people with no stated income. Who regulated that? It's crazy. But there was a company called BlackRock that was tapped to balance out the markets by the Federal Reserve, the largest asset manager in the world that literally is part of almost all your daily interactions of the companies you touch. They were tapped by the Federal Reserve that was created in 1913 to balance out the markets and the money flows, to balance out the markets in 2009. So write that down. Also in 2009, Bitcoin's inception was created in January, but nobody knows who created Bitcoin. Nobody knows still to this day, with all our technology and all the things we can do to research, nobody knows who created Bitcoin in 2009. Another thing to write down is the BRICS countries are formed in 2009. Brazil, India, Russia, China, India, and South Africa, and Saudi Arabia is working to join them, and 19 other countries. So 2009, the markets were balanced out. We kind of got back on our feet. BlackRock became much more massive as an asset manager globally. Then in 2012, was another dramatic shift. So in 2012, the Mayan calendar ended, the death of the old and the birth of the new. In 2012, Obama's rescue plan was created. In 2012, the FOMC, Future Oversight Committee, was created to regulate non-bank financial institutions. In 2012, Rosie Rios, who sits on the board of Ripple, was told to reduce coin and cash usage. So in 2012, there's some dramatic shifts happening, and also the bank bailing committees were created. So the printing machine was turned on full blast. They created the bank bailing committees in 2012. They created the Future Oversight Committee to regulate non-bank financial institutions. You don't think they're preparing for this moment in time in 2023 with cryptocurrency protecting us from speculators? So let's fast forward now from 2012 to 2020. Printing machine is rolling. We head into, remember, Rosie Rios was told to reduce coin and cash usage in 2012, and she said you need a shock to the system to move consumer behaviors, and she wasn't able to reduce coin and cash usage because when they're printing money, GDP growth goes up and cash and coin usage goes up. So in 2020, we had a massive shock to the system, changing consumer behaviors. And again, BlackRock was tapped just like 2008 to balance out the markets, the largest asset manager in the world by the Federal Reserve. Then we're cruising along, our whole lives change, everybody's locked down, consumer behaviors change. In December 20th, 2020, SEC initiates a case against Ripple, the most well-run crypto company in the world, around XRP being a security. But what that was is to slow down the monetary system as they work to regulate it. First they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it, then they join it. So from 2020 to 2023, you're told cryptocurrency is a fraud, you're told it's rat poisoning, it's used for money laundering from some of the largest banks and leaders in the world. So 2022, they proved you that cryptocurrency is a fraud. Stablecoin collapse, FTX collapse, Celsius collapse. But something changed in 2023 that lines up with 2012 pretty dramatically. So on the back end of 2022, MicroStrategies increased their position in Bitcoin. They also increased their position in Bitcoin in 2023, Q1. Vanguard and BlackRock, the largest asset managers in the world, increased their position in MicroStrategies, Q1 2023. Banks start to bail in and start to go insolvent. One of the largest banks in the world, JP Morgan, starts to monopolize First Republic, very similar to 1929. And oh yeah, the bank bailing committees that were created in 2012, Jay Clayton, the one who initiated the case against Ripple when he was part of the SEC, now sits on the board for the bank bailing committees. And now there's a shock to the system, reducing coin and cash usage and changing consumer behaviors. So now as you sit in 2023, you are now getting global regulation from the Bank of International Settlements, which meets with the G20 in August. And by the end of this year, you will have global regulation around stablecoins and cryptocurrency. And BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF got approved to go through the process. So your financial advisor told you crypto is a fraud. Your tax accountant told you crypto is a fraud. And what they were just doing is parroting the information. When they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. And the fact is, in the next 24 to 36 months, most of you aren't even going to know you're going to be operating on blockchain technology. And here's my prediction, just my prediction, don't make a financial move. As your local banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, will custody your cryptocurrency because it's safe, because they prove it's safe now, based on the information they provide to the public through the media, is you will custody your crypto at a local bank. So know the game so you can't be played. It's nothing new under the sun. You're drunk off the wine. The Trojan horses come in. But again, this is just my opinion. I hope that information helps. If you want more information, I have a YouTube channel. Every single day I'm providing education. Love you. Warriors, rise. Get your shit together. Love you. Remember, I will never proactively DM you. Those are all scammers. I have an education academy linked in my bio. We've helped over 7,000 warriors get their shit together. We also have an Index Universal Life team teaching people infinity banking concept. I'm a licensed insurance agent. I have a team of licensed insurance agents all over the United States. You can set up a free consultation. Never send anybody money pretending to be me. I hope this information reaches you well. Use discernment. Love you guys.